Hello, in the next few videos we will be looking at how to manipulate graphs. Specifically in today's video, we will look at how to manipulate a function or graph to vertically shift in the positive and the negative direction. If you have the function f of x, all you need to do plus c or subtract a constant c to move the graph vertically up or vertically down. Again, your original function is f of x. If you have f of x plus c, this is going to be a vertical shift upwards or in the positive direction. And if you have f of x, your original function, minus a constant or c, then this is going to be a vertical shift downwards or in the negative direction. Take your original function, let's say f of x, and add a constant. So if we said plus 2, this would shift the function up 2 points. And if we had f of x minus 2, then this would shift it down 2 points. Let's look at an example. Say you had the function f of x equals x squared, and you wanted to vertically shift it up 2. Then what we would need to do is just add that constant to the function. So if we wanted to do an upward shift, then we would have f of x equals x squared and then plus 2. If we look at a graph, x squared is our original function, so we will draw that out there, and this is x squared. And if we wanted to, we could plot this out to be exact. So at 0, 0, that would be this point. At 1, 1, that would be this point. At 2, we would be at 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be this point right here. And then that's how we have this graphed here. If we look at x squared plus 2, then we can do the same thing. We plug in our point 0, 0, and that's going to give us actually 0 plus 2. So this is where this graph is going to start. If we plug in a value of 1, then we're going to get 3 instead of 1. So up 1, 2, 3. And that's going to be right here. And if we go over 2, then we're actually going to be kind of off the graph, and we'll be somewhere way up here. But we draw this out, and what we see, this graph is the same as our original function. It's just vertically shifted up 2 points. If you add something to the function, then that's going to go in the upwards or positive direction. If we wanted to look at going in the negative direction, then all we would need to do is subtract that 2. If we subtract that 2, then we're going to go down here into the negatives, and we can do the same thing. Initially, if we plug in 0, then we're going to get negative 2 as our first point. And then we put in 1, and we're going to get 1 squared, which is 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. So then that's going to go right there. And similarly, if we put in 2, then that's going to give us a value of 2, which is actually going to go right here. So then this graph is going to follow this path. Which again is the exact same as our original function of x squared. However, in the yellow, we have shifted up in that positive direction by adding the constant, and in the red, we have that negative value, and so therefore we're going to go down, and that's going to be a negative shift vertically. Okay, let's look at another example. In our next problem, we have the function f of x equals x plus 1, and the question asks us to do a vertical shift in the positive direction, 3, and a vertical shift in the negative direction, 3. Looking at our original function, if we graph this out, then we have a straight line, which is going to be 1 here. We go over 1, we go up 2, and we go back 1, and we are here at 0. And if we connect these points, this is our original function. In A, it says to do a vertical shift in the positive direction by 3. So what we need to do is take our original function, f of x, and add 3 to it. So we have x plus 1 plus 3. When we simplify, our new function becomes x plus 4. And now we can graph this. If we plug in our values, so we plug in 0, our first point is going to be 0, 4, which is right here. Our next point, if we go over 1, it's going to be up to 5. And if we go to negative 1, we're going to go up to 3. And we can draw this line here. So this is a f of x plus 3. With this, we can see that all points from our original graph to the shifted graph is elevated vertically upwards by 3 points. And that satisfies part A. For part B, it asks us to do a vertical shift in the negative direction by 3. To do that, all we need to do is take our original function and subtract 3 from it. When we do that, we have our original function, so x plus 1, and then we do minus 3. When we simplify, we get our function, f of x equals x minus 2. When we graph this, we will do the same and plug in our points. When we plug in 0, we're going to get negative 2. When we go over to the right 1, that's going to give us a negative 1. And if we go to the left negative 1, that's going to give us a negative 3. When we graph this, we see that this is the function f of x minus 3. And this indicates that from our original function, all points are shifted down 3 in the negative direction. And there you go. Now you know how to manipulate a graph to vertically shift in the positive and or negative direction. Again, you take your original function and you add a value to that function to move it upward, or you take that function and subtract a value to move it downward. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you learned something, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.